A beautiful day here in the North Shore of Massachusetts, and we're starting something special here. This is the Polar Front Podcast. I am Tommy House here with Henry Swenson, owner of the Henry's Weather Channel _ on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, etc. What a beautiful day outside. We got some snow falling, and I'm here on spring break, so we texted, and I was like, you better get over here, we're starting this. So we've had this in the works now for quite some time. Isn't that right, Henry?
Yeah, that's right. Looking forward to starting this up. It's going to be great, hopefully.
I feel like every man in their life wants to start a podcast. It's kind of like a midlife crisis, except for early people. So a quarterly life crisis here. We're going to be talking all things weather, Twitter specifically. I feel like every day there's some drama, and it's ridiculous because it's it's supposed to be about the weather, which is there shouldn't be any drama, but there is. And it's quite a crazy app. Every time I'm trying to get on it, I'm like, I just got to delete this thing. But we're here, and we're going to discuss it. We're going to be talking about a few different things in the next few minutes, and it's going to be quite the treat. So here we go. So, Henry, it has been quite the semester for both of us. We've been doing different things. We're both, working on the weekends and trying to put, money in our wallets. It's been a crazy time. What have you been up to with the Weather Channel? Where are we shifting with this? Because it has been just quite, the eventful winter so far. And I know we're in the works of a few different sponsorships and things like that. Tell me about how, where do you see this channel going in terms of, your career as a freelance meteorologist so far?
I'm just trying to grow it to as many people as possible. Just trying to spread the word, get it out there. I'm just trying to grow it. Hopefully, get more people every day into the forecasts and stuff on social media. But yeah, I'm trying to get sponsors. Hopefully, gonna get some sponsorships in the next few months, and hopefully, it takes off a little more.
A lot of people see your account, and it's great because people like upfront and honest people in the weather world. I feel like there's a lot of tacky people out there who kind of just say really smart things and are very, mean when it comes to interacting with people about snowfall maps and things like that. And it's having someone who's just upfront and just telling them the truth, no extra spice, but is also very personable. It goes far. And a lot of people have said that about your account, how it's not some fake tacky, pay this amount of money for this kind of forecast, but instead it's something that's just more reasonable and personal. So that's pretty good. And I've had Henry up at Plymouth State a few times where I go to school, and we're just making graphics and looking at storms, and we're just taking it one storm at a time. So when it comes to this podcast, kind of just where I felt where we needed to be was why don't we just share what's been going on, because there is a lot going on in both of our lives. And there's really not a big weather podcast. There's Weather Geeks, and there's a few other big ones with some higher, more advanced PhD meteorologists, which is very respectable. But I feel like starting this Polar Front podcast is sort of an opportunity for the everyday common guy who just loves the weather, or guy or girl, can just come on here and listen and just relate to the things that we're going through. Because at least for me as a student meteorologist, I mean, it's a lot of money to go to school, a lot of heavy, hard math classes and stuff like that. And, just having a break to talk about, what's going on in the weather world, it's refreshing. It truly, truly is. So let's start with weather Twitter here. Whoa, I know.
Whoa.
Ridiculously stupid. It's great for networking. It's great for posting, broadcasting, graphics, but there's a lot of drama. Just the other day, someone was making their own advisories and watches and warnings. Do you remember that?
I remember that. That's insane. That's unbelievable.
There was some drama too with it. The hashtag defund the National Weather Service went around, which
Oh man.
there's a lot to unwrap there and discuss. I mean, do you like weather Twitter? What is your take on it?
I like it if we're tracking a storm. You just have to filter out all of the bias and all of that, because you got to be careful on what you see on Twitter. A lot of it is false information, but a lot of it is actually good information. You can talk to other people, get their opinions. Just got to filter out the bad stuff.
I feel like there's this division when it comes to storms, where there's some higher up education people who kind of look down at the average weather Twitter person and is my map is correct. I have so much schooling. And then there's someone else who's no, my map is correct. And then there's people who live in Boston or live in New York and give themselves an extra 2 to 3 feet of snow compared to everyone else. So, you really got to look at different kinds of maps, and especially the news stations. There's a lot of bias sometimes with some forecasters who, love or hate snow. So I think just finding people who are who are reasonable is huge in today's world. Thinking of Pete out of Boston, people who are just, represent themselves well, have some good character, and just want to, make the weather world a better place, right?
I have a lot of respect for Pete. Pete Bouchard. He's very real when it comes to auto meteorology stuff. He gives his honest opinions every day. I respect him a lot. He's a great meteorologist.
There's a lot of them in Boston. It's a great market, and it's been a privilege, watching these guys on TV and having the opportunity to one day maybe work for them. And it's been a wild ride. So weather Twitter has had its ups and downs, a lot of different accounts coming through. And if you don't know what weather Twitter is, it's basically like not a cult. It is a group of people who are very heated about little things in the weather. And it's a great thing for some, like if there's a big storm and all the guidances show the same exact amounts in ensembles, it's a beautiful thing because everyone's getting excited about a storm. But if there's 3 different models, if there's the European, which gives Boston a foot, the GFS, which gives Boston 2 feet, and there's the Canadian that gives us all rain, it's hostile because people take different stances, and it's a bloodbath. It really is. I guess to sort of wrap up this first episode, it's kind of like one of those pilot episodes. We're kind of just figuring out what we're doing. Is where we see ourselves, going with this. It's, I'm a full-time student. I'm working as well 30, 40 hours a week, and Henry's working about 40, 50 hours a week while trying to run this weather account. So it's not going to be like a weekly podcast here. But I just want this to be a place in a space for people just to kind of, unwind and listen. If there's a big storm coming up, just to have some people talk about it without getting all heated. We can bring people on who, know what they're talking about. And we can have different people with different views kind of just, bashing it out on here. And it's a really exciting opportunity that we put together here. So on Twitter, our DMs are open for people who want to kind of just try to get on the account here and just kind of say some stuff that's on their mind about the weather Twitter and weather world. A few storms coming up this weekend. I'm going to be up in Vermont, and Henry's going to be down here giving the forecast. So make sure to stay tuned. We're going to be giving a live coverage on Henry's Weather channel for this storm. So it's going to be quite exciting. And then here on the podcast, we'll probably hit a few episodes in the next few weeks. So make sure to stay tuned. We're going to have a weather podcast account. So we're going to have a Polar Front podcast account coming very soon. So make sure to stay on the lookout for that. As always, guys, thank you very much for this amazing opportunity here. And thank you, Henry, for being here with me.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And this is only going to grow to be hopefully bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it really is. So, as always, take care, everyone, and we hope to see you soon.